What is going on, guys? Victor here with yet another brand new video. As I promised, I'm going to continue to keep on putting out my content throughout the 2021 year. I know I had a big break during 2020. I was on fire for the first half of the year. Then, as the second half of the year decided to come on, I didn't really put on anything at all. But I'm going to continue my things, and for this video, obviously, I want to talk about the UFC. The UFC is finally back in action, but I'm going to talk about a certain fighter, a certain individual, other than the fights that will be going on in the near future. This fighter happens to be one of the best bantamweights at the moment, but he's going through a very bad slump. He's lost 3 in a row. He's been finished 3 times in a row after he had a very, very good run before that. This individual is Marlon Magic Moraes. Obviously, Marlon is a great guy. He's one of the best guys they can be able to hang around, one of the nicest guys in the UFC. He has an amazing story. He is from Brazil. He grew up poor. He ended up working from 7 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon while also going to school and while also training. His base background is Muay Thai, and then later on in the future, he decided that he wanted to become a mixed martial artist and not just a Muay Thai specialist. So as his career went on, he ended up getting the boxing, he ended up getting the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and also the wrestling as well. Marlon Moraes is definitely one of the most elite fighters in the UFC, but when we all talk about mixed martial arts, we always think about the physical aspects that the sport has to bring, but we never talk about the mental aspects that the sport brings. It's all mental. It's not always going to be physical. When you talk about mental, we talk about what goes on in the human mind. There's so many emotions that goes on right in here. It's not all about being dialed in on your opponent. It's not always thinking about I gotta win, I gotta win, I gotta win. When you're on fire, you're on fire. You're on top of the world. You think you're amazing. You think you're unstoppable. You don't think anyone can beat you. But when you get that loss, all of that momentum can come crumbling down. And when I mean crumbling down, is that you start to get dark thoughts going into your head. You start to think, what if I lose the next one? What if I lose the one after that one? I might get cut from the UFC. I might not get a chance to fight for the title ever again. I'm not only letting myself down, but I'm also letting my coaches down. And this is kind of the situation that Marlon Moraes is going through. Obviously, he used to be the champion in the World Series of Fighting, which is now the PFL, Professional Fighters League. He had a great run there. He signed with the UFC. He dropped his first fight against Rafael Sanzao, which is a split decision. He then went on to beat Josh Dotson by split decision. And then his next 3 fights would all end in finishes. He dominated Aljamain Sterling. He will be fighting for the title soon. He dominated Jimmy Rivera. He also dominated Rafael Sanzao in their rematch. And as a result of winning those 3 fights, he ended up getting a title fight against the past flyweight king, Henry Cejudo. And I'm going to go back to the mental aspect. If you're going to go up against someone who's got a huge persona, that basically has his personification about themselves, that he's the absolute best, he's a 3-time champion, Triple C, I went to the Olympics, I'm a UFC champion, I'm on top of the world, no one can touch me, no one can do anything to me. And then he's going to go out there and trash talk the whole entire time. If we all know Marlon, he's not the best trash talker out there. He did do a little bit of it against Jimmy Rivera. There's a lot of bad blood between those 2 individuals. But Marlon Moraes was able to come out on top. But not with Triple C. Not with Henry Cejudo. Cejudo just kept on blasting him with all these crazy antics, with the rabbit hat, the magician's hat, and everything like that, and kicking all these bunnies out and talking all this trash to Marlon Moraes. Him basically saying, I don't give a crap if we have the same manager or not, which is Ali Abdelaziz. Ali Abdelaziz is one of the most powerful managers in all of mixed martial arts, of the whole entire sport. Also in the UFC, he's got a lot of clients in Bellator. He's got a lot of clients in all these different mixed martial arts platforms that is going on now in today's day and age. But Henry Cejudo he did not care if both of them were being represented by the same guy. He wanted to go after it. He was talking all this trash. He was telling Marlon Moraes that he's going to destroy him. He's not going to stand a whole chance with him. He's going to prove to the world that he is going to be a double champ. And that's basically what happened. Marlon Moraes went in there red hot in the first round, took care of business. He won that first round convincingly. And the next thing you know, Henry Cejudo comes out hot in the second round. TKO's Marlon Moraes. What happened going in there red hot in the first round and dropping it in the second? There's a lot of things that goes on up in here in the middle. It's not all physical, because Marlon Moraes, when you look at the man, he is chiseled to the bone. You can see the muscles from head all the way to the toes. The guy is strong. He's athletic. He moves around extremely fluently. His Muay Thai is one of the best in all of the UFC. But let's be honest here. If you're not checked all the way up in here, then you're not going to win the fight. Why is Conor McGregor so successful? Because of all the trash talk, because of his belief, because of his... It's because not only his belief, but his faith and his mantra. I'm always going to win. I'm always going to talk my trash. I'm always going to go in there and back up my talk. No one's going to go in there and shut me up. Even if he does loses, he'll go back to that. That's his personification. That's who he is. That's why Conor McGregor has become so successful. Now that's why you see so many guys creating these alter egos. You got the Colby Covingtons of the world. You got the Henry Cejudos of the world. And those guys have all gotten title shots. They've all gotten title shots. So if you're not checking yourself up here, something bad is going to happen. Ever since that title shot against Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes has dropped 2 other fights via TKO. He lost to Corey Sandhagen, who clipped him with a nice wheel kick right upside the top of the head, right here in the temple. And that dropped him. He ended up getting TKO'd via ground and pound. After that, he went on to face Rafa, who was out for about a year because he tore his ACL. Rafa basically TKO'd him in the first round as well. He clipped him with a nice step jab, which really wobbled Marlon Moraes, and he was able to get him down and TKO him via ground and pound. Now, Marlon did have some great moments in that fight, even though it only lasted for a couple minutes in the first round. But Marlon, as a result of losing his last 2 fights, he didn't have it all in here. His mind wasn't convinced that he was going to win the fight. His body was ready, but his mind wasn't ready. And obviously, Marlon has switched camps. Marlon used to be up in New Jersey with Ricardo Almeida MMA. Ricardo Almeida BJJ, to be honest. But they got some great fighters over there. They got the Zabits, they got the Frankie Edgars, they got all the guys up there that you can be able to train with in order for you to become successful. As soon as he lost that fight against Henry Cejudo, he left. He left to American Top Team, which is a mega gym, which is basically the best gym that you would love to go to if you're an MMA fighter, mixed martial artist. If you want to have all the coaches all in one roof, you go to mega teams such as King's MMA up in California, or you go to Flores MMA down in Dallas, or you go all the way to ATT, American Top Team, where they got all the champions from all different types of organizations out there. Amanda Nunes. You've also got the former champion, Joanna. I can't even say her last name, but you got Joanna, the former Polish strawweight queen, and then you've also got Junior Dos Santos, who used to be a former champion. You got all these different former. Oh, you've also got Andrei Arlovsky as well, future Hall of Famer, former champion. All these different talents down there in American Top Team. Dustin Poirier, former champion. Colby Covington, former champion, even though he's not even there anymore. All these, you got all the resources you need possible in order to succeed. But ever since his move down south, Marlon has dropped 2 fights. And if he loses one more, he's basically in danger of not being in the UFC anymore. Just because of everything that's going on in here, those losses have gotten to his head. Am I giving up on Marlon Moraes just because he's lost these fights? No. In my opinion, he needs to visit a sports psychiatrist to see what's really going on in his mind, what's going on in his head. Because whatever's going on up there is not good. He's lost faith in himself. His coaches haven't lost faith in him at all. But because of that loss to Henry Cejudo, because he was red hot before that, don't get me wrong. He was red hot. One of the hottest fighters in all the UFC, which is why he got that title shot to begin with. But as a result of that loss, his confidence has gone down the roof. like I said, it's not all about the physical attributions that you can bring to the fights. It's all about your mental fortitude and what you can be able to bring to that octagon, what your belief is, what your faith is, what your mantra is. And if he doesn't visit a sports psychiatrist to help him fix that problem, he might drop his next fight as well. He's number 7 right now in the bantamweight rankings, and soon enough, he's going to be, like I said, I have no idea. He might. There's so many different things that goes on in someone's head, especially if you're going through a losing streak. You never know what's going to go on at the end of the day. But I do believe that Marlon Moraes will come back. If he gets a sports psychiatrist, he will be in a good position to make another run at the title if he wins a couple of next fights. But I just wanted to make this video to basically let you all know what's going on with Marlon Moraes. How has he dropped all these fights so far if he was on red hot fire just a couple years ago? What's going on? But we will see in the future what goes on with Marlon Moraes. I do hope that he does make another run and he does get another title shot because he's one of the nicest guys out there. He has a happy beginning story to his MMA career, and we will see what happens to Marlon come this 2021 year. Hopefully it's better than 2020 like I always keep on saying, but we'll see what happens. I appreciate you guys for watching this video, and I'll continue to keep on putting this content out there. Later.